Quiet, quiet, everybody. It is Saturday afternoon. It is a lovely day here in Topeka, Kansas on the 29th of April, 2023. This is me, Stephen Lee Wright. My tribal name given to me by Chief Paul is Agma Nusuk Awadi. In English, that means he follows the trail. And that's just what we are going to do today, where we have followed the trail right into my backyard. And what we're going to do is we're going to see what we can find to eat here in our backyard. All right, here we go. This is my main garden plot. All right, now I've not done anything yet this year, and everything that you see here is just what the Creator made to sprout and come alive in my garden. First thing I'm going to show you is this right here. This is called bull nettle. It's related to stinging nettle, but you notice I'm touching it. It doesn't have the stinging hairs, so there's no problem with that. And I'm going to show you something. I'm going to cut this right here, and look at this stem. If you can see that, it's square. See, that stem is square. This is how you know that these are nettles, but also that they are part of the mint family. All mints have a square stem like that. Now, the flavor is slightly mint-like, slightly nutty. It works well just raw like that. And it also works very well as a cooked green. Now, let me tell you about the qualities of this plant. Bull nettle is a rich source of antioxidants, which our bodies need to reduce the number of free radicals in our system. It is high in vitamin C, and we know that's very powerful to aid the immune system, and may even provide protection against various types of cancer. Nettles are also high in vitamin A, which we know vitamin A is very important for eye health. There's also anti-inflammatory qualities of this plant. It's been found to be beneficial for reducing joint pain and inflammation. In one study, 27 people who had arthritic pain in their fingers obtained relief by massaging the leaves of the plant and all those juices into their fingers, and that provided relief from the inflammation of the arthritis. All right, now I'm going to move a little bit over here because I saw, all right, this one right here. Okay, let me get my cutters here. Well, all right, I misplaced them. Now, I'm actually just sitting here at the corner of this garden space. This is lamb's quarter. Lamb's quarter. This is a very nutritious plant. It's my favorite of all the volunteers that come up out here in my yard. It's called lamb's quarter because it has a very soft underside of the leaf. It's very pleasant to the taste, and cooked, it's very useful and good. It's also been called wild spinach, sometimes pigweed, and goosefoot is another name for this plant. Very high in fiber, protein, vitamin A, vitamin C, as well as minerals. Minerals like manganese, calcium, copper, and some iron as well, which kind of figures because it's called wild spinach. It's very similar to spinach in how you would use it and how it tastes. It is also very high in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Now, I'm going to move a little bit over here. Now, right here, you see the little purple flowers? Purple flowers there. And notice the squareness of the stem. This is what's called dead nettle. Dead nettle. You can see that. I really need a camera person to help with this. I'm going to have to see how this all turns out. Dead nettle. Has little purple flowers. Flowers are starting to fade right now. But you see this making carpets over pastures, over fields. It's beautiful. And it's also in the nettle family. And it has the square stem. And very tasty. This one, especially with the flowers, has a real sweetness to it when you eat it with the flowers. It's also known as henbit. This is a superfood. It has vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin K, iron, fiber. It's an astringent, and it's a purgative and a diuretic. So you don't want to eat great amounts of this stuff. But it's also an anti-inflammatory, an antifungal, and an antibacterial. Fresh leaves can be applied to wounds as a poultice, and you can eat the leaves fresh. You can dry them. You can use them as a seasoning or make a tea from them. All right, over here, that is goldenrod. Goldenrod. Now these are just the young plant. They're not in bloom yet, of course. But this is another very useful plant. It has many valuable plant compounds, including saponins, which have antifungal effects, and flavonoids, which are antioxidants and anti-inflammatory. This plant, there it is over there again, very high in B12, D, E, magnesium, copper, selenium, and zinc. Now, another one that I was going to show you is mullein. So I'm going to travel over here. Now, if you notice where my granddaughter's little three-wheeler is, there's lots of that dead nettle over here. And there's another plant right here I'm going to talk about in a moment. But I want to show you this one. Actually, we have two right here together. How convenient. See this plant right here? The one with the big leaf is called mullein. All right? I'm going to sit down here and hopefully you can see that plant. Okay. Mullein. This is a medicine plant for sure. This plant is good for pulmonary problems, inflammatory diseases, asthma, which I suffer from mildly, coughs, diarrhea, and migraine headaches. It is sometimes called Indian tobacco, and later on when I show you more videos we can see how it grows up with its big stalk. It's also called cowboy toilet paper because it's so soft. So if you're ever in the woods and you need something like that, well, there you have a nice plant to use for that. Now, with all of these that I'm talking about, a caution, because I want you to research these plants for yourself and find out their uses and their limitations and their cautions before just, you know, going willy-nilly. On this one especially, it is very similar in appearance to foxglove or digitalis. You would not want to consume that one or make a smudge and breathe the smoke from that plant, because it could stop your heart. Not a good plan. But this plant is good for treating wounds and burns. It has effects against staph and E. coli as well. Now, right next to it here, with a bird painted leaf there, bird dropping on there, this is evening primrose. This one over here. That's a young plant of evening primrose. The oil from the seeds of this plant is very high in omega-6 fatty acids, including gamma-linolenic acid, or GLA. Our ancestors used this plant to make poultices for bruises and wounds and to promote healing. Juices from the leaves and stems are helpful for skin irritations. Now, I dry it and make tea, especially for Kimber, my wife, because it's especially good for the woman's body. Now, you know, as I sit here, I see a lot of other plants. Here's dandelion, and well, I didn't point out any. I've got the wild sunflowers that grow out here in my yard. I've got a lot of different plants. I have not yet gotten my garden together, but this is the garden that just grows on its own. These are plants I'm showing you that just come up in my yard, and I've encouraged them in my yard because they have useful properties. And so I hope you have enjoyed this little tour of the backyard, and I'm going to be making follow-up posts to this. We'll come back out here in the yard, maybe in about a month, and see what changes have occurred, because by then I will have some on-purpose plantings to show you, as well as looking at the progress of some of these that we've been looking at here today. So thanks for enjoying this video, and again, be careful to research all of these plants. And I wouldn't recommend any for consumption or use that I did not feel were good and safe for that, but there are cautions with some of these, so just make sure you know and you can identify and properly make use of these plants. And the main thing is just to understand that these are just, I didn't plant any of these. They're just here, and I've encouraged their proliferation in my yard. I have not discouraged them. I don't spray my yard with herbicides because I eat out of my yard. And this is all just free for the taking right here in my backyard. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.